Yo, it's Captain, bringing you a Star Rail Captain Log 2.2-1 because it's the first day that we played 2.2, the new patch. Is it part 3? Yeah, because 2.0 was point one, was part 1, right? Part 3 of Penacony, at least gonna be the climax because they said we're gonna fight the big boss by the end. I don't know if they'll do like a resolution patch afterwards or if this is the end of the Penacony story. Don't know, but it's a big patch. It's a big deal with the story. It's all very exciting. I'm excited, what's going to happen? They dropped all these cliffhangers at the end of in the end of 2.1, in the last bit of Penacony. And it's like, "Oh, what are they going to do?" So it's just an exciting time. So 2.2 day 1. And I did okay, should I give you the overview? I did try to find some video clips, but I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I should do video clips for this game because it's a lot of like watching people talk. So it's kind of like just cutscenes, and I don't, it's not really a video where I just have game playing in the background while you listen to me. I kind of want it to be a talk to you video, and also I don't want to do that much editing. I literally don't have time for it, sadly. But really, I like this format of talking. I don't know, maybe that's the wrong way to go. Let me know. But so I did try to find some clips, but they're gonna be kind of short. It's not like, oh, look at this funny moment, because there's not really gameplay. It's story. It's story time. It's Star Rail, man. It's story time. But I thought maybe like just for some visuals for while I'm talking, it could like pop something up. So I got a couple. We'll see. But I'll tell you. All right. So it was day 1, but it's Captain here. We go pretty slowly. We didn't get all that far. I think I looked it up. It seems to be, I've looked up a couple of the like documentary playthroughs that people do where they just let the game run. There's no talking or anything. They just play it if it's, just as pure content as you can get. I looked it up. It does seem to be longer than the last patch, and the last patch was pretty long. I've got to find a faster way to play it because we took too long. They were revealing, the official account was revealing like spoilers because it was like everybody was supposed to have done it by then, and I was like, oh no, I haven't got that far. So we got to figure out a solution to that because this one seems to be even longer. The one playthrough I looked at, it was like over 8 hours. Another one was, I think, 7 or something hours. But all of them were over the same person's content for the previous patch. So that's a little intimidating. That's a lot of story. I mean, I like the story, it's good, but that's a lot to try to get through when you're on like a timer. And people, the way people play these games, they play them like they get through the story as fast as possible so they can go talk about it with each other in the community with the rest of everything. And it's like, man, that's a lot to try to get through quickly before I can jump into that conversation or just say screw it and deal with knowing the ending. So who knows. But all right, so what did we get done today? Speaking of things taking too long, Cap, you're in no place to criticize. Guilty as charged. So what did we do today? We did the start of it, which is, I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget, which is the Dan Heng and Boothill on the train scene. We did Acheron and the Creepy Pepeshi scene, and Robin ? And then the Firefly, who takes us to Welt. Those are essentially the scenes we got through. So we just made it to the new map, which is, oh no, what was it called? Dreamscale Reef or something to do with a reef. But it's kind of the broken down dreamscape. We just got there with Firefly, and she just brought us to Welt, and then we kind of had a little conversation, and it's like, oh, we should go find our friends. And that's as far as we got today. So that's as far as this video will cover. Hopefully it won't be super long. The one on the last one I did, which was the end of 2.1, was a very long video. So let's hope it's not that long. I'm gonna try to. It's not that much we did, so it shouldn't be too crazy. I don't have too much to say on these things, but I will go through them. Should I give like an overview of what I think? I mean, it's a lot of starting. It's a lot of starting and setting up what's gonna happen, kind of like finishing off those cliffhangers and getting stuff set up to where we're going. And it seems exciting so far. But I mean, it's just the start. I really haven't gotten too far. I'm excited to see what's going on in all of those situations, and I'm wondering if they didn't just end the stuff with Acheron because she was like, "I'm gonna leave." So I don't know what's going on that. And the other one, and then I can talk about them more when we get into it. But what I actually started today was looking at. I went to the scene where we had fought Aventurine. You got to remember, the last thing we did was fight Aventurine. He annoyed us until Acheron revealed her true powers and sliced him into, annihilated him, unmade him, and that seemed to also delete everyone there. It seemed just delete everyone with her deletion powers. We had confirmed that Aventurine got deleted, and they had that big heart-to-heart where she talks about, because she's like this person that has the power of nihility that she doesn't want, so she's just constantly ending things when she doesn't. The last thing she wants is to lose more people, and Aventurine has a death wish, and he can't ever die because he's so lucky. So the two of them were complete opposites, and they had a heart-to-heart, and she helped him kind of get over his death wish, I think, which was some nice character growth. But so we know he was dead, and then we did like a flash to Trailblazer, and he's with Sam, who is revealed to be Firefly, and you're revealed to be also in the dead space, kind of with her. So, which is how you got to her, and it's like, I think Acheron killed us too. And then the very last thing in the last patch was you see Gallagher and Sunday accuses Gallagher of being fake, that he's the perfect family member because he's a bunch of pieces put together, calls him in one of the updated text message, but not the voice, some sort of minion of Enigmata, presumably another path. I think you guys have done more of the extra game stuff. I think Enigmata shows up there. I haven't. I just play the story and occasionally do some events. But yeah, and then and then Sunday gets juiced. Presumably Gallagher is either in league with the memory thing, the meme death beast that juices people in the dream, kills them in the dream, or is in control of it because Gallagher's like, you know what? I'll tell you what, let me help you out. And then it's a little scene, he like closes his lighter and Sunday's juiced. So that's where we left off. So I started it, I was like, let me just go back to where that boss fight was, because that was kind of where we were, right? And there's this big gash through the movie screen, like, oh. But actually it doesn't start there. It doesn't start with Trailblazer or the train gang, because who knows what's up with them. It actually starts with the on the train with the only person that's still there, which is Dan Heng. Here, let's see if I can make use of these videos I found, and you can, I don't know, I'll just pretend this was valuable. So you can't even see the camera's blocking shit. You won't be able to read the text. This format doesn't work well with this. But yeah, so Dan Heng is there, and Boothill is there, and they have this showdown. It's this nice Western showdown. See, you're not even going to be able to read the text, because I sit there and talk about the text for like 20 minutes on everything. But look, you get to see the scene. It has like a bunch of nice scenes. Dan Heng's like tough guy, and Boothill's also a tough guy. And then you very quickly realize they kind of just made up a scenario where this scene would play out. I was gonna at least let a couple camera shots go on, but it's gonna take too long. All right, look, whatever. I'm telling you, I don't know if this showing the clips is gonna work. We'll see. But there you go. You don't even get to see Boothill. Hold on. Can I at least show you Boothill's face? There, look. Okay. Goodness. This is... No! This is cringe. There you go. You can see Boothill. He's doing his stuff. I guess I just did the shot a little too early. But he's there with Dan Heng, and they're having like a little showdown. There. Whatever. Whatever. Who knows? Who knows what was made visible in that moment? Just my browser, actually. But I've lost my train of thought. I'm not gonna. We're gonna have to. This isn't the game for this kind of thing. But anyways, they have a little moment together where Boothill's like, "This is a stick up," and Dan Heng's like, "You really don't want to challenge me, dude. I can turn into a dragon." He doesn't say it, but you get that feeling. You know, he has that silent anime protagonist feel. And you're like, you don't mess with the silent anime kid, dude. He'll turn into a dragon. It's you're the end. But they kind of just set up the Boothill thing, and it tells you why he's here. They talk a little bit about the Galaxy Rangers and what's going on with them. And you get a little thing, and then you really just find out. I think this is just how they're going to introduce Dan Heng into all this. Because I guess they didn't want to just leave him on the train the whole time. But Boothill reveal they have like a little test for each other to make sure they are who they say they are, which is one, our way to know who the Galaxy Rangers are, but also shows that because Boothill's mission here is somebody is impersonating the Galaxy Rangers, and he, as a Galaxy Ranger, is been sent here or just decided to come here in order to fix this injustice. People do not impersonate the Galaxy Rangers and get away with it. They also give you like a little blurb on like what are the Galaxy Rangers and what they do. Apparently they're supposed to be gone. Dan Heng implies that there is no more Galaxy Rangers, and Boothill's like, no, they made that stuff up, we're still around. He has a very country voice, by the way, which is hilarious. And then he says that he tells you what they're there to do. It's like, he says they only have like one code, and it's don't bully the weak and don't kill the innocent. And it's like, okay, that's not too bad. And then he implies that if they catch you doing that, they will bring justice to you. And so I guess the Galaxy Rangers are just this kind of intergalactic, you know, vigilantes. I don't know. Like if you are screwing up and you're being mean to people and you're doing things, if you're taking advantage of people that can't fight back, someone out there somewhere will find you and bring you justice. Bring justice to you. Bring the people you're taking advantage of justice, and bring the justice to you probably by hunting you down and murdering you. Like the Wild West, right? So I think that's pretty cool. So the Galaxy Rangers are like just good guys, like international or intergalactic Batmans or something, something like that. So that was kind of neat. But basically he just says he's there because someone is impersonating it. It's Acheron. She's actually an emanator of nihility, as far as he could tell from his conversation with the memo keeper. Dan Heng says something really weird that he's like, there are no emanators of nihility. And I'm like, Dan Heng, you're supposed to be a smart guy. Aren't you supposed to know all this? Boothill basically says something along the lines of, it's awful optimistic to think nihility doesn't have emanators. I think his exact line was, I guess we're just not nihilistic enough to believe, to realize it. But yeah, so that just seems to be set up, and he kind of says, hey, you should get a hold of your team because they might be in trouble. Now, that's where the scene ends, but presumably Dan Heng will try to get a hold of us, and we will be in the dead dream space because we just got murdered in the dream, and he won't be able to, and then come down. I assume that's what's going to happen. Anyways, and then, since we're talking about Acheron, it then switches to Acheron and a creepy Pepeshi, and that means I will once again attempt to do this. Because I want to show you the gash in the screen, at the very least. All right, here we go. There. But it's gonna start with this thing. That's the Creepy Pepeshi. I gotta admit, I really... There's the big gash. That's what I want to show you. So it's like that's the result of the fight we had, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Other than that, though, I think this format's probably best for like showing you a boss fight or something. Because like this dialogue, it doesn't like... The main content is the dialogue and then me talking about it, so you don't really get anything from the visual. So I'll take that away. But I gotta admit, I don't really like the Creepy Pepeshi. I don't really like what they did. What they did... Not that I don't like the scene or anything. Acheron was a complete badass, which was very cool. And there was a big reveal about the Dream Master, because that's who the Creepy Pepeshi turns out to be. There was a reveal that the Dream Master is not actually a Creepy Pepeshi, but is somehow intrinsically linked to the family and the Oak family and can control them in the dream, because he actually talks through a few different people, but mainly the Creepy Pepeshi. And so you get a little... So it's mainly a Dream Master reveal, which is one of the big figures on Penacony. We know that... Because everybody talks about the Watchmaker, right? Well, we learned from Gallagher, I think, and then it was backed up somewhere else, I think, but it's mainly Gallagher, that the Watchmaker is not who runs Penacony. The Dream Master runs Penacony, because the Watchmaker faction is the group that initially rebelled as a prison colony and got their freedom, and then they were in trouble, right? They were just rebels who were in dire straits, so they made a deal with the family to help them out, and because the family could make use of the dream stuff they were mining that was really thick around there. So then they made this deal to, you know, have planned the festivities and stuff. But the family and the Watchmaker faction had a falling out. According to Gallagher, the family, specifically the Oak family, betrayed everyone and blamed it on the Watchmaker. And ever since, the Watchmaker has been exiled and then eventually just died in exile. And the rest of his faction tried to clear his name until he died, so for a long time. And now they've either given up or are like kind of just trying to undermine the family. Like currently, there's someone who's acting as the Watchmaker who is working, you know, working quite diligently behind the scenes to undermine everything. And it seems the implication was that all the corruption and the dream and stuff is that guy's fault. So the Watchmaker, but not not the original Watchmaker, because he's gone. That's what Gallagher told us. So there's two big factions. Everybody thinks, oh, it's Penacony, Watchmaker. Watchmaker's like exiled, gone. Family doesn't want to even acknowledge he exists. So who does run everything? Well, that's the Dream Master. The family is in charge of what the family is in charge of everything, and the Dream Master is in charge of the family. So we have a scene with the Dream Master and Acheron. Now, why did I say I didn't like this? Because I just kind of explained it all. Just to let you know, it wasn't that I didn't like the scene. I did not like the voice creative choice of having a creepy Dream Master voice overlaid with a cute Pepeshi voice and then have them talk at the same time, because it drags. It dragged so much that it actually became comical. And it's supposed to be a kind of serious scene. The Dream Master is a spooky voice with spooky voice modulations, and he talks like really, really over dramatically, like an over dramatic spooky villain, which, you know, you could say is cheesy, but I think it could work. It's just that they decided to overlay his voice with whoever he's talking through at the time to let you know he's talking through somebody. But what happens when you get two people to talk at the same time? They talk slowly so they can match each other. It's the only way you can do it. You just naturally talk slowly. And so we have spooky villain voice spooky voice modulations, really over dramatic and kind of long speeches combined with a really squeaky voice. And the result of this is you have to go really slow. So we have big dialogue, weird combination of voices, very slowly, and it takes forever. He just keeps there's a point where Acheron walks away, right? He's like, you gotta leave. And she's like, you know what? I'll leave. And she leaves, and he keeps monologuing to no one because she is now behind him. If she walked at any normal pace, she would be out of earshot by the time he got through the first, half of his first dialogue, and he goes 2 or 3 more dialogues. Just monologuing with this over dramatic, super wordy stuff that's spoken really slowly. It was nuts. It took me way out of the moment. Like I said, it became comical for what was supposed to be kind of serious and spooky, and it was absolutely absurd. And they didn't know what to do except just kept shifting the camera to show spookier, because it was a group of people, right? So spookier shots of the groups of people being all tough and and then he finally says something that gets her to stop, and she stops and kind of turns, and she's only a little bit away from him to kind of indicate that, well, obviously she's not gone. So I think, well, if she's not gone, how slow is she walking? If she was walking until that moment when she stopped, she'd be out the door, dude. It was really something, I have to admit. But it did give us some reveals. The Dream Master said something that his body is dead and he can live through, and he counted them all up, all the members of the Oak family, the 100,000 or something members of the Oak family that are his children. He's able to, they're his body now. And it's what is going on? He talked really over the top and extra dramatic, a lot like Sunday talks, but even more so, and with kind of a darker intent. Sunday talks about everything he says is really nice and virtuous, which contributes to his angel man image, but he's been really angry the whole time, and so it's all been there's a hidden bite behind the words, he's saying nice things and talking about harmony and virtue and all that, but really he's insulting Adventurine horribly by saying he's a horrible bad person. There's this, oh, you're evil. And in this Dream Master guy, he even called people heathens. He had to eject all the heathens. And I was like, what is this? It's a really, just like with the Sunday, but even more so, it's a fun play where they're saying, this kind of, they're trying to make this good and evil thing, and they're clearly the bad guys, but they're talking or they're clearly the evil guys, but they're talking the good guys. They're oh, the other guys are the heathens. And I'm you're the guy with the spooky voice, right? If anybody's the devil here, it's you, man. So it's a fun play on that. I'll be interested to see where they go with that. I imagine it's a play on the harmony as some sort of unity and almost a religious bent to it. It's like a church kind of conglomerate thing, except clearly there's something wrong, so it's a false church thing. It's a false unity thing. We'll see how that goes, because even Acheron implies that she tells the Dream Masters you and I both know you've strayed real far from the harmony, and she implies that nihility has its gaze, or its least is floating by in some way, and that Penacony is in danger of nihility just sucking it up. I don't know if she means actually nihility itself, IX is floating by, or if she's just saying what you're doing is going to fall apart because you have strayed and you are lying, and this is all going to fall apart because it would end then. And she, anytime something ends, she associates endings with nihility. Not quite sure how space god ish space magic stuff we're talking about, like if she actually means Nihility's gonna walk by, or she's just being metaphorical. But what was cool is we saw the crow a lot. I'm trying to think if I skipped an end of a thought. I don't know, I might have. But we saw the crow a lot in these shots, and we've been seeing the crow whenever Sunday's around. So I was like, I thought the crow was associated with Sunday. They have a very similar symbol on their chest. But I think I actually watched all this again before I did the video. I think the crow is actually the Dream Master. I think the implication is the crow is the actual Dream Master. And because he's always there, which makes me wonder every time we've seen the crow in the background now, does that mean the Dream Master was just watching, or does that mean the Dream Master was in control of the situation? Like most of the time we saw the crow with Sunday and Sunday scenes, but we saw it in other places. So was the Dream Master manipulating Sunday there? Was he making sure everything would work? Or was he just watching? I don't know. Because clearly the Dream Master's manipulating things here, right? He's taking control of these people, possessing them. Again, if anybody's the devil, it's the Dream Master. Possessing people. And, having them do its bidding. So, right, if the crow's there to make that happen, maybe he was messing with Sunday too. Not sure. But at the very end, Acheron looks up at the crow to do her final threat, and the crow's like, so it does make me feel like I think the crow is the Dream Master, and Acheron's letting him know that like she's not falling for his tricks, because he threatens her, and she's like, he's like, I'll threaten you with the entire family. The family's all over the cosmos. There's nowhere you could escape the something Centaurian, or so the Eternal Centaurian. I'm like, what is that? And she's like, no, you don't get it. I could just delete all of you. That's what I do. I can delete anything. So she did finally scare him at the end, I think, which was nice. I think the only other hint there, this was one of the bigger scenes, so it's why it's taking a little bit longer, but I probably am talking too long. The only other hint we got there was the Dream Master said that some of the first people he ejected out of the dream were the very people who cost him his body. And he says specifically they ripped off his wings and immolated him. Which makes me think, well, which is freaky, but makes me think maybe he was a Hevlovian, the earwing people. Maybe that's what he meant, or maybe he's actually an angelic creature. I have no idea. But remember, the Oak family, which is who he says he's associated with, is who Gallagher said actually did the original betrayal. And here Acheron says you're not on the path of harmony anymore. Perhaps that's all tying together. The Dream Master has done something to betray the harmony. Maybe he's Stellaron corrupted. Who knows? Because it just seems to be the easy answer for the villains. So I think all that's going to come into play. That maybe he was the original person who did the betrayal on the Oak family and then blamed it on the Watchmaker. Anyways, he tries to, his whole point is to get Acheron to leave. And he threatens her, and then they threaten each other back. But she says she seems like she doesn't want to kill everyone, so she agrees and leaves. And that's kind of that scene. Then, okay, I gotta go faster, dude. Dude, I just had so much to say about that scene and the stupid voice. Like I said, the voices were fine. It was just the creative decision to overlay the two of them, which then made everything go really slowly. I think it would have been fine without that. Because it was a combination. Like the dramatic voice, I think would have been fine. The dramatic speech with over-wordy dialogue, I think could have even been fine. But then making it slow, it's just all in combination. It's too much. But then we go to that, and we go to Robin. We go to Robin's POV. We get to play as Robin, and I'm like, but Robin's been juiced. Actually, we didn't see Robin get juiced. We just been told Robin's dead. As far as we don't, she might not even been killed in the dream, I think, but they did tell us she was. because I think in the big reveals at the end of the last patch, it was no one's actually dead, including Robin. So we switched to Robin's POV, like, oh, we're gonna play as Robin. But it's like question mark, question mark, question mark. And it's even anytime Robin talks, it's question mark, question mark, question mark. And you're like, And it's like Robin question mark POV. And you're like, And she's going around talking to everybody. She's basically doing damage control for what happened. She's telling everybody, no, all that crazy stuff, the explosion, the everything getting deleted, that was totally fine. That was all just part of everything. Nothing to worry about. All right, let me see if I get this. We got more video. And then so that's what she's doing. So you're playing, it's pretty much it. It's kind of a short scene. You just talk to 4 groups of people, and I can't even move this cam so you can see the words because of it just wouldn't work. So she's doing that. She's telling everybody that everything's fine. And then Robin question mark does something very, very strange. I have to see if I've timed this properly. She starts, she gives these people something when she gets done talking with them. She gives them a little gift. Oh my god, and I did not time this properly, so who knows when she's going to give him the gift. But she starts giving out these little gifts. And it's very quickly revealed that from the gifts that Robin question mark is not Robin. Because how badly timed did I do this? I had it set up so it was just like her handing the gift. Did I fuck it up? Hold on. God. There it is. God. The one thing that I thought would be good for a video clip. There. She hands him the button. She hands him the mutual destruction button, the sparkle special, and it becomes very clear that Robin is not Robin. Robin question mark is not Robin. Robin question mark is Sparkle, pretending to be Robin. And she actually goes around and does a lot of damage control and hands out a lot of buttons. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, why? I actually worked really hard to get that timed right. That was the one that I felt really confident about. Whatever. I actually thought to myself, why is she doing all this damage control? And then I thought, well, she probably wants those buttons to be pressed, and if everybody freaks out and leaves, right, she can't cause the chaos anymore. So she's trying to get everybody to stay so that the buttons can get pressed, and whatever the hell she's gonna do is gonna happen. So that was that scene. Robin is not Robin. It is Sparkle. We still don't know what's happened to Robin. Then we fade to the final scene, which I don't even know if I'm going to show a video for it because it's a lot of art scenes. But we end up talking to Firefly. Here, I'll show you the video clip that I got. But it's a lot of these type of art scenes. We have a scene with Firefly, and she kind of explains some stuff, and it's all like she's telling us about flashbacks and stuff. So it's all these, they just put up art, and it goes through kind of all the times we talked with her as she's kind of explaining what happened. And I have things to say about this too. Oh no, this video is already too long. I have things to say about this too, because one of my big questions, it was just a big like twist drop at the end that Sam's actually Firefly. And I was like, all right, well, that wasn't explained at all. So they're going to have to do all that in 2.2. Well, here we are in 2.2. Are they doing it? Had to take a drink. Kinda. I was actually dissatisfied with it while I was playing through it. Because the reasons, she kind of told what happened, and then she gave some reasons as to what's going on. And it was like, well, why did you show up as Sam? Why didn't you just tell us this earlier? Why did we go through all this? And she gave a couple reasons. She said the script, I couldn't defy the script, which is the things they get from Elio, the guy who runs the Stellarons, the guy who has all these prophetic visions and knows how the future is going to go out. and is in control of all the Stellaron hunters to guide them into the best possible future. So they do what he says, right? And she's like, oh, I tried. I couldn't defy the script. And I was like, well, you could have tried a little harder. Like, what do you mean? Like, you could have just told us. She's like, I tried so hard, but there's no way. And I was like, you could have literally just told us. Like, I didn't see her pushing against fate and it not working. But I think there's a solution to that. And then the other thing she said was, well, she just didn't want to tell us. And, you know, she wanted to hang out with us as Firefly, not Sam. And I was like, well, so why did you show up as Sam then? Well, you could have just showed up as Firefly and it would have been fine. So neither of these explanations were really good to me. And I was kind of like, this is fluffy. And I thought, all right, well, maybe she meant that like she couldn't go against the script because like she had to follow orders. Maybe that's how she meant it. Like, she's a Stellaron hunter, she has to do what Elio says, so she couldn't, you know, and part of it was like, I can't actually tell you who I am, right? And then that combined with, well, maybe she didn't mean exactly, well, I just wanted to be Firefly and not Sam. Maybe she meant she didn't want to tell us she was the same person. And so then you combine that with the other, you know, because she's like a little bit embarrassed by it or something, you know, it's kind of a personal secret. And so then if you combine that with, well, the other Elio thing that she had to follow orders, then it's like, all right, so she had to follow orders and show up as Sam, and then she couldn't tell us because she was embarrassed, you know. So it's like you can kind of get reasons out of it, like if you reach for it, right? But like, I'm like, is that really intended though, or am I right? Are we just headcanoning here, or are we just like reaching extra hard? So I actually went back and watched while I was brushing my teeth, I went back and watched the other interactions we've had with Sam, because I was like, this is not cutting it for me. And I keep thinking, well, they could always do more later, because, you know, she's still a little bit hidden with some of her stuff. There's still more stuff she could tell us. So I thought, you know, they could always do more later, but I'm like, well, I want to know if this is enough now. So I went back and watched stuff with Sam, and it did actually seem more thought. Once I refreshed myself on that, it did seem more thought out. Like when Sam shows up, you know, he threatens everybody. He tells them to leave, right? And then you have the fight with him. And then in the next, that was 2.0. And then in 2.1, you get a continuation of that with Acheron and Sam, because the memo keeps, you have the fight, and Memo Keeper ports you out and leaves Acheron and Sam there. And that's how she isolates you to get you to talk to Aventurine. And then that leaves Acheron and Sam, and they kind of stop their fight. And Acheron's like, I'm not going to kill you because I can tell you actually didn't want to hurt us. You didn't want to hurt the Trailblazer. You were just trying to get us to leave. And I forget what the exact line was, but the implication was the us was her and Black Swan, which meant she's saying that she feels Sam just wanted to get Trailblazer alone. And that kind of matches up, kind of like if you reach for it, that kind of matches up with what Firefly was saying, where like, there was no way to tell you, right? Because if you reach for it, it's like, because I had to be Sam there and I didn't want to reveal that Sam and Firefly are the same person to anyone but you. And remember, those other two are there. And that matches up with what Acheron said, like, you were just trying to get rid of me and Black Swan and be alone with the Trailblazer. So I was like, okay, that does kind of fit. But it's like, well, why did you show up as Sam then? You could have just showed up as Firefly, then you wouldn't have had to keep a secret at all. But then I thought about it, and like, all right, well, if we reach some more, you know, maybe she has this big secret. Because what she tells us is that she did all this because when she first interacted with the death meme, because remember, it grabbed her once, and then we escaped. And she said when she first interacted with it, she could see in its eyes there was another dreamscape. And she figured, okay, there's more to this than just dying in the dream. And she was going to do all this kind of like on purpose to try, or at least get a hold of it, the meme, the death meme, the monster, to figure this out. And and that's why she called everybody. She called up Silverwolf and said, "Hey, tell him to meet me here, the train gang." But then, instead of the train gang meeting her there, it's Trailblazer, Black Swan, and Acheron. So if we reach for it, she might have seen that and been like, well, I can't reveal these secrets that I'm found to Acheron and Black Swan because I don't know them and I don't know if I can trust them. I just want to reveal the secrets to Trailblazer. In which case, I can't reveal that Firefly's not dead to them, and I have the ability to be another person who is quite threatening, so I will just become Sam and scare the other two off, and then I can get Trailblazer alone. I'll have to tell him that Firefly is Sam, which will be a little bit awkward, but we'll get over it, and then we can talk about what I discovered through the death meme and what happens when it kills you and stuff. Now, it's a reach, but it does make sense, and there does seem to be some hints at that. I gotta admit it's a reach, though. So, I don't know. I'm still, like I said, I'm not quite satisfied with this whole... I'm not entirely sure they didn't just do it because they just wanted a cool twist. You know what I mean? I guess, I guess it's a cool twist. But and they did give us a little bit more on how Firefly is Sam, and I will say that's interesting. So you know what? If it's like a little bit, well, we just threw it in there for a twist, but like it actually is a cool story on how Firefly and Sam are the same person, I can be like, all right, this is a cool character. I like the dichotomy of what you got going here, and whatever, you threw it in for a cool twist. Kind of like at the beginning where Boothill was just randomly pointing his gun at Dan Heng. Was there really any reason for that? He could have just showed up and said, "Hi, I'm Boothill. I have to ask you a favor." But that's not nearly as cool as opening the patch with a shot of Boothill pointing a gun at Dan Heng and Dan Heng being like, that's really cool. So that's why you do it, right? So I don't know, but time will tell, maybe, whether this twist was just for the cool factor, because it, I don't know, made a lot of sense. Anyways, it was cool to rewatch that little thing with Acheron, though, because Acheron again mentions she knows who Sam is, and I think I figured out what she meant. She said she had to do everything through feelings, and I think what she did is she was able to get the same emotional vibe because she knew Firefly, she knew Sam, and she's like, oh, I think what she meant. She doesn't have like mind reading powers, although Black Swan does, which makes me wonder if she knew that Sam was Firefly, which would be really funny because everybody knew but us. But I think the idea is that Acheron is very sensitive empathically, and she could pick up that Sam had the same kind of like emotional print as Firefly. She got the same feelings from him, so that's how she figured it out. But again, Sam didn't know that until after we had already been taken by Black Swan. So, right, if Acheron knew, then she could have revealed it to us. But and you'd be like, and then you'd be back to like, why didn't you tell us? Well, she didn't know Acheron knew, and she didn't know if Black Swan knew. Of course, we don't know if Black Swan knew, to be fair. Anyways. That's not even the point of the scene. That was just my complaint with it, because that's what I've been desperately trying to figure out. Are they going to make this work? This Sam is Firefly thing, and I think they still can make it work, but I'm not sure about the twist for me. I mean, it's still cool scenes, so that's something. But anyways, she talks to us about the death meme and how she saw the other dreamscape in its eyes, and that she was just trying to figure out the secrets of Penacony, and she was just trying to get us over there to show us what she had found out. And then it kind of all fell apart, presumably because we showed up with Acheron and Black Swan, and then she didn't know what to do, and all the events of the plot happened instead. And then she said, and then she's like, no matter what I tried to do, I had to follow the script, right? Because Elio's prophecy was that she would come into conflict with them, even though, and she's sitting there like, well, I didn't want to. And then here she is, found herself in conflict with them despite trying not to. Now, I would have personally liked to see her try a little bit harder, because to me, I'm over here reaching to make this work. But that's supposedly what happened. So fate played out, the story played out the way it did, even though she tried not to, even though that's not what Firefly wanted. And so that's how we got here. But since we got deleted by Acheron, she can talk to us now, and she's going to help us. Everything's fixed now. She can take us to what she was wanted to show us before all that happened. So that's what she's doing. And she talks to us, and she says, close your eyes. Don't worry about the creepy noises, presumably from the death meme that you hear. Don't worry about my giant monster. It will be fine. It will just murder you. It won't hurt, probably. So we close our eyes, and then we wake up in the new map, which is the Dreamscape Reef. I think it's called the Dreamscale Reef, something Reef. And then she explains that we get a little Welt is there, and it's like, where are we? And it's like, this place is this might be the real, this is the more real dreamscape, more chaotic, the dark secret dreamscape, the place you go when you die in the dream, essentially, because they say the meme beast actually is the guardian of this place, and he's just bringing people here. He doesn't kill you, right? It's not really death. It's just how you get, he's just taking you from one dreamscape to another, right? It's like taking you from golden hour to, I don't know, moment of twilight. Whatever the names of the other ones are. It's just taking you somewhere else. But the thing is, the implication is the family desperately wants to hide this place so strongly that they let people, they let the rumor go around that you could die in the dream, which is detrimental to them. But at least it protects, the knowledge that there is this other place. And it's neat. We found like a little readable, and the implication was this place used to be just as bustling as any other dreamscape. And then times got hard. They got less people. Then the watchmaker leaves, and it's got even worse. And now it's like barely holding together. So you look, it's like a ghost town. There's graffiti everywhere. There's like trash everywhere. It's like you're in a back alley where everything's broken down and stuff. And the implication is it's not because it's a creepy dream space. It's because everyone's gone now. And it used to be just as nice as the other ones, except more free, not under the family's control. But now it's broken down. So the question will be, why is it broken down? What happened? What did this place used to be? What is it now? Was it just where the whole watchmaker clan was? That's where the dreamscape they inhabited and could bring people to as they wanted to. And then the families, had stronger control, exerted more control, blamed the watchmaker, ousted the watchmaker. And now the watchmaker clan has just dwindled to nothing. And so their dreamscape is just barely still there, Maybe that's the implication. We'll see. That'll be, for the next episode. The only other thing that we missed when she brought us to this dreamscape, presumably by calling death over to murder us, we did see a memory of hers, an old memory of hers, and I don't know why they showed it to us, except it was another little just art piece. But it was her and Blade sitting in a car, and they both had suits on. It was cute, and cool, and they were leaving, I don't know, Durango or someplace, Japello. I don't know what it was called, but the city of sin, and it was just a quick little back and forth between them. And it said that their mission was to knock out the Japello family. I can't remember it. And then the Flame Mansion will take over. And so this was some previous assignment from Elio to get the Flame Court. What are they called? The guys, the Duke Inferno that Acheron murdered. Apparently this was a mission from a while ago for them to get it so that place took over. Now, presumably, I don't know, like I said, it's kind of random. So presumably, this was Elio orchestrating events so that Acheron could eventually get in there. because she took out the court. What, I don't remember their name, but the Duke Inferno's group to get her invitation. So that's my best guess as to why they showed that. It like drew that, kind of just drew it all in. You know, Elio's really orchestrating events, kind of thing. But maybe it's they're gonna talk about it later. So what's the only other thing with Firefly? Because I guess there was another thing. I said that I did kind of like what they were doing with her in the Sam suit, because you do get to ask her what's up with Sam, and she tells you it's a suit, obviously. But she tells you, she's like, you remember when I said I could only, I'm fading away and I can only live in a medical bay? Yeah, Sam's the medical bay. I can only live in the suit. The suit is the thing that's keeping me alive, keeping me functional. But she also tells us some things about the Sam suit, that it's like a Firefly model, tactical assault mech, and it's like the Sam itself stands for like strategic assault machine or something like that. Something like that. And I was like, wait, why is it called Firefly? And then she said it was what she was born for. And she didn't elaborate too much, but I think the implication is that she was born as, created as, a death machine, right? This like a weapon of war. They just had mech assault machines. That's how they did it. And apparently they got people to man them, but the whole I was born to it makes me feel like it wasn't like she was a person and then signed up for it. It's not like she was Firefly Girl and she signed up for it. It was like, no, they either grew her, or it's like, well, we need a way to man the suits. Well, we'll just create people that have this disease where they fade away, but it'll be perfect for them manning the suits. Maybe it was all just like, part of the creation of the weapon of war is that she was made part of it, and that explains her disease where she's fading away, and that explains the suit, and that explains kind of the naming of it. I don't know. I hope we get some more details on that, some more backstory. We might have to wait to the next patch when she becomes a character that we can pull on, because that was really interesting to me. I was like, oh, that'd be like a wild story, wouldn't it? Like just made as a death machine, and she never was a little girl until maybe she got to the Stellaron hunters and they helped her like get out of the suit. Like maybe she was never supposed to be able to get out of the suit. Who knows? I mean, who knows? It was just speculating. But wouldn't that be cool? So maybe that's why she follows Elio's instructions to the letter, because she wouldn't even be real. She'd just be the death machine running around killing everybody without him. So I don't. It's very interesting because it was it's like, well, her name's Firefly. Well, that's kind of the name of the suit. Kinda. It's like the class of the suit. So it's like maybe they finally got her out of the suit, and then it's like, well, what do we call you? And it's Firefly class. I guess I'm Firefly. I don't know. That's speculation on my part. But just the way she phrased it made it seem very interesting of how Firefly and Sam interact and become the same person. And if they make that interesting enough, you know what? I think I'll be satisfied. I'll overlook the other stuff for the rule of cool or whatever, and just be like, okay, that's a really interesting character. So that's what I'm hoping for. And as far as what this video, we got to do something different for tomorrow. We're only 45 minutes in for 8 hours. I thought this would be real quick. And I was like, well, this is like 4 scenes, and like 2 of them are like super short. I don't even know what I'm gonna say about them. This will be fine. I don't know. I probably won't do the video tomorrow. Let me know if you not like this video, but the clips from the stream. I probably won't do those clips in there because I don't know if they added. I mean, they gave you a visual, I suppose, but I don't know. Anyway, so what do I look forward to tomorrow? Seeing what's up with the Dreamscape Reef, meeting back up with the train gang, hopefully getting some more answers out of Firefly. What's going on with the Dream Master? What's the crow? Is Acheron actually leaving? How is Dan Heng and Boothill gonna enter into the scene? Wouldn't it be funny if Acheron, they meet up with Acheron and then they're like the team? It's Acheron, Boothill, and Dan Heng are one team, and then the Train Gang in the Deep Dream with Firefly is another team. And then we'll have eventually Topaz and Jade are going to show up, right? And probably meet back up with Aventurine. So that'll be a team. Sparkle's trying to just blow everybody up, so I guess she's a team. The Memo Keeper's disappeared, but presumably she's there. The family will be a team. I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces. So I am looking forward to see how they all go together. But that's what we did today. That was our Dan and Boothill, Acheron and the Creepy Pepeshi, Robin question mark, and the buttons, and then Firefly, and then surprise Welt. So that's what we did today. This is an hour-long video. Well, 56 minutes so far. But yeehaw. Is this how it's gonna be? Is this how it's gonna be? This game is just so much. I gotta figure out a way to do everything with this game faster. Everyone else already beat the story. They stayed up all week and beat the story. Captain's back here at minute 46 of 8.5 hours. Oh god. But that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on anything, everything, on whatever you want to do. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next one. See you around.